No, 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 no.
Batman!
The show isn't on yet, but now it is.
Sorry.
The show isn't on yet. But
I'm
now
sorry.
Hannah, Hannah.
Oh, I thought it was on.
I thought you were saying
I
it.
thought she was pointing at me. Sorry. I started early because I thought Cora pointed at me. Anyway, guys, welcome to another episode of SCNS Live. I wasn't gonna go no. It's the show. Whatever. Anyway, thank you all for joining us as we give. Stop our producer.
Yeah, don't do that.
As we give homage to one of the most successful comic icons out there, the Batman. Yes, he is
One and only.
So anyway, we are the nerds of Super Cool Nerd Show. I am Jason the X. I'm doing the show alone. I'm sitting in the chair of somebody that's normally here, but instead I have Cass.
Hello everybody. Kat is not here. She is hanging out, going to watch Overwatch League.
In a cooler part of the nation, by the way.
Yes, much cooler.
So lucky.
And after taking a couple weeks off from the show, Bryce is back.
Hey.
With a vengeance. Wait till they get a load of me.
We both need haircuts, by the way. I'm just saying.
I'm growing it out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you going like one of those old pictures we saw of you where you had like
The fro.
boom?
Not that long. I'm not gonna go Conan.
Come on, Trent
Yeah,
Reznor. Get all Trent Reznor.
We'll see.
Come on, Trent Reznor. And behind the board, tweaking knobs and ruining her show. Cora, ladies and gentlemen, the producer. Hi, I'm so sorry.
ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sorry.
It's
fine.
We're all sorry. Anyway, yes, like I said, we are saying our praises to Bruce Wayne, probably the most damaged man out there in comics. He doesn't need to be a hero because something is wrong with his mind. He needs to be. I'm sorry.
Too rude. Super rude.
Okay, I'll start my Batman
The rudest.
reaction
Thank you.
just for
Thanks
this
very
show.
much.
Just
Okay.
for this show.
All right. Deal.
Just for this show.
Contrary opinion. Post-killing joke. Maybe Babs is the most troubled. Post-killing joke.
I don't know.
Mm,
Oracle.
No, she's.
I feel like she has it together.
Okay.
But we'll get into that. Anyway, you know how we kick the show off. Let's start off with some super cool nerd news. Yeah, super cool nerd show news. So I'm a little disappointed in my precious Marvel Cinematic Universe because they have not beaten Avatar yet. And how do they do this? Well, though it's already in theaters, we're going to do a re-release of Avengers Endgame with new footage, deleted scenes, and an end-credit scene. Now, this is obviously a cheap money grab just to re-release the movie to get a couple of more ticket sales in there so it can bypass Avatar, and it is totally working on me. Yes, I will go see this movie again this weekend. I will give you my hard-earned money just so we can beat James Cameron's Avatar, which does not deserve that spot. We already took down Titanic, boy. We coming for Avatar. Anyway, we already took down Titanic, boy. We coming for Avatar. Is this? I want opinions on this. Would y'all be willing to watch Endgame again, even longer now? Because 3 hours was nothing for me.
Sure.
Bryce?
Yeah. I saw it twice. I intended to see it a third time. I thought I would be seeing it a few weeks later than this at the bargain theater for $2 or whatever. But yeah, the movie's great, and if I get to see, Hugh Jackman or Ryan Reynolds,
That's not what's going to happen, and you know
but
it.
wouldn't it be fun?
It would be amazing.
It would be great. You know what? I do want to see if they tease Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I do want to see if they tease, Birds of Prey. Joke. But I'm curious to see what else they have in the tank. My fear is that there will be no actual additional footage in the film, and it will only be a deleted scene at a tease at the end. That's all you're going to get.
I'm absolutely not interested. No,
Wow.
thank you.
Really?
No, I don't. I didn't even want to see it again the first time. Like, it was too long, and yes, everything in it was important, and yes, it needed to be that long, but no. I will see it. I will see the extended footage when it comes out, and I will watch those deleted scenes by themselves. I do not want to sit through that again. It was way too long. And again, yes, it needed to be, but it was so long, it was so depressing, and I wasn't super happy with the final result, so no. I will watch your deleted scenes when I inevitably pirate your movie.
Cora? Cora?
Maybe like I. Hmm. I liked that the movie didn't have end credit scenes to begin with, so I'm kind of on the fence on how I feel about it. With the end credit scenes, what I'm hoping for is it actually doesn't tease anything and it's just something fun. I don't really want a teaser for the next portion because I want to experience that first movie. I want to experience Homecoming, or not Homecoming, but Far From Home without anything, like nothing at all. And then when Far From Home comes out, then we get a teaser in credit scene for what's coming. Because I feel like that is more appropriate for it. Because this, not having an end credit scene made it feel like the true end for that phase. We didn't get anything.
Very much, yeah.
So I'm okay with that.
So,
But I don't want to sit through sitting through 3 hours wasn't too bad for me. But if there's going to be even more footage, I don't know how much longer I can last. Because while I joke that, I sit through watching the extended versions of Lord of the Rings back to back, I pause the movie a lot to pee. I drink a lot of water.
so I'm going to be honest with y'all. Now, the original, the original runtime of Endgame is 3 minutes and 2 minutes. 3 hours and 2 minutes. The new runtime is 3 hours and 8 minutes. So let's just keep it real. Wow, look, I am willing to throw myself on that stone of sacrifice. So yeah, I'm a fanboy. I'm gonna go watch it, and I'm gonna tell you that these extra 6 minutes are the greatest thing ever. So I'm not gonna do that, but I am gonna go watch it again. So there. So 3 minutes, 3 hours and 8 minutes is the new runtime. So there you go.
I'm conflicted. I would like to go.
That is absolutely ridiculous, and I hate it so much.
But I do think that the idea of something really funny I could see is tempting. Plus, a friend of mine wants to see it. He has not seen it yet. So
you're going with a friend?
Probably, yeah.
See, that's different to me. I think I would absolutely be willing to watch. I don't know. It's so long, guys. It's such a long movie.
You probably won't have anything going on. Just come with us.
Yeah. Sure.
Come on. Just come on and join the fun.
I'm not busy ever.
No. Bring the whole Now with Milk crowd. Bring everybody.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll all go.
One of them saw Endgame like 6 days ago, so I'm sure they're going to want to sit through that again.
Well, it's epic.
Well, anyway, Bryce, what have you got for the news this week?
Okay. So, boy, this is a mess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is a mess. So, while the MIB franchise gently weeps at the box office with an underperforming and disappointing $28 million in ticket sales, and the budget for the film, I believe, was north of 110 million.
Ish, yeah.
Yeah. Various reports are now surfacing that a highly contentious and problematic film production for director F. Gary Gray and producer Walter Parks did exist, and it was not easy for cast and crew. Case in point, there were issues on the tone and how they wanted the film to look and who they wanted the villains to be. There were a lot of rewrites, and basically the first draft of the film that apparently was almost brought to production centered on refugees and major political talking points regarding said refugees, and the tone was going to be inspired by the Beatles. The villains were going to be basically a quartet of Beatles with a musical background who could merge into a single being. That was the original concept for the villains, right? Which they ended up paring it down to 2. I don't know. I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah, right, ish, yeah. So
two very, very hot villains, if I do say so myself.
Well, they weren't hot to me, but I thought they were very intimidating.
Beautiful.
They were cool. So I will say this: I've seen the film. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I found it to be boring for the most part. I didn't really enjoy the film at all. While I thought Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth tried to raise the level of, of the creativity as best they could with their performances, I enjoyed them to some degree. But what I'm reading here is that to contend with the constant changes of the cast occasionally receiving new dialogue the day of filming, which is never a good sign. These 2 prominent actors, featured performers, hired their own dialogue writers to keep their characterizations consistent and to receive their approval.
Yeah.
So when you've got all that going on, and then you've got a director and a producer who can't see eye to eye, that's, to me, I didn't know this information until after I saw the film. But I mean, I was sitting there in the film thinking, I'm missing Tommy Lee and Will. That's what I thought. I mean, it wasn't. To me, it just wasn't very engaging. I think the problem I see with the franchise is it was so much fun and lighthearted, and the effects were groundbreaking to some degree in the original 2 films, and probably to the third one to some degree. But
I don't remember the third one at
Don't
all.
worry, you don't have to.
I remember there was a beach. That's what I remember.
So I mean, I really enjoyed those films, and thought they were funny, and I thought the chemistry was great on those films. But let me just say that "We Can Work It Out" was a song made famous by the Beatles, and it had no bearing on this project whatsoever. And I would further add that perhaps this film's tagline in the advertisement should have been "I'm a loser," inspired by the Beatles. This film didn't amount to much for me. The only thing I really enjoyed was some of the creature makeups.
There was some gorgeous prosthetics done in this movie.
I agree. After that, I found myself being bored in the film and wondering when we were going to get to the climax and get this thing over with, to be honest. Wow. So for me, it was very disappointing. And I would say that from what I've read, the director made a cut of the film, the producer made a cut of the film, and the producer won. And his cut was released. And the results I saw on the big screen the other day were not to my liking. So I'd be curious to know if the director's cut was any better. Yeah. But I didn't like what I saw.
I will say, in defense of this movie, if you know me well enough, you know that I don't actually care about plot. You can have giant plot holes, and I will basically not notice because my big thing is characters. I want to watch characters doing what they do.
Right.
And Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson's characters were both incredibly consistent. They were interesting, and they were a lot of fun. So actually, I really, really enjoyed this movie.
Did you?
I'm
glad.
Is it? I mean, it's not Citizen Kane, but like, if you turn off your brain and you go, this is going to be a fun sci-fi thing, there's probably going to be a twist and I'm going to get to see Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson, then I think you'll enjoy this movie. But that's definitely what I did. I just turned off my brain and was like, oh, there's sci-fi, big gun, and we're done. and I liked it actually.
I went into the film wanting to enjoy it. I wasn't in a bad mood or anything.
Yeah.
I was just I was underwhelmed.
It's absolutely
I guess
fair.
I guess, you know, and there's nothing against Chris or Tessa. I like them. I just, to me, I guess I wanted to see more of Tessa's journey, her characters. I didn't get to see her develop as an agent as much as I thought I would.
I think they did. There's
during
a
the
weird
testing
thing.
phase.
Yeah. There's an interesting thing where it kind of sets up for a sequel and it kind of doesn't. And that's all I'm going to say about that part.
Right.
But I
Definitely
if they
doesn't.
do a sequel, which it looks like they're not going to, because it's not making any money, I think that they would be planning on kind of bringing her more into light in the next one.
Yeah.
But it looks like that's not going to happen because it's making absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
At the box office.
Doesn't seem likely.
Is very
I just didn't understand how this movie missed. I was so excited for it. But
Did you watch it? Yeah. Did you like it? Like, it was fun.
I gave it a chance because I hold 1 and 2 in such high regard. That is a hard bar to get over. Let's face it. So I'm willing. Amazing. So I go in a little bit more sympathetic already.
Yeah.
So I was okay with the movie.
That's fair.
I was okay with it, but I was like, ooh, there were some missed marks here. And I was disappointed because I knew it could have been better. That's the other thing. It's more, I like you, I'm disappointed in you right now. So
yeah, it didn't help. Genuinely, it didn't help. There's an English actress that was in it that I deeply dislike, and so I was not excited to see her. And I didn't know she was going to be in it.
But if it's going to stand against other, Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith had like the best chemistry in the
for sure.
So, and
I will say
Tessa Thompson and Chris
they have amazing chemistry.
I like the both of them, but this movie could have been better.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let it slide. It could have been better.
The reason I'm being hard on it, and I'll just, my final say on this is that I felt like there should have been more laughs. And I felt like maybe they were either trying too hard or they, you know, some of the gags just didn't work for me.
They did a lot of slapstick in the other ones too. When you think
there wasn't as much in this one, yeah.
Like even too when Will Smith's riding on the freaking big worm through the subway. That's where they're kicking the flower.
Yeah.
With Patrick Warburton.
I will say, just personally, I like that it wasn't as gross. Like 1 and 2 are gross in a lot of scenes, and I'm kind of okay with them just toning that down a little bit.
I'm okay with that.
Because the bug from the first one is just like, ugh.
He's scary.
Ugh.
He's gross.
Yeah, not a fan. Although I do love Vincent D'Onofrio, and every time I go back and watch that movie, I'm like, it's Kingpin. It's Kingpin. He's a bug. That's it.
It's cool.
Well, speaking of a love-hate thing that happens to be going out there, Cora, what's your story for this week?
Okay, so we all know the wonderful Neil Gaiman story, Good Omens, that has come to Amazon Prime. And it is doing phenomenally. It's getting rave reviews.
Because it's amazing.
Because it's wonderful. I mean, the casting was perfect already, and so we already knew it was going to be great. But there are people that don't like the show. And those people have all one thing in common, for the most part, and that is that they are mostly extremely Christian and find a lot of the things in the show offensive. So they don't like things like God. Slight spoiler territory, but
read the book.
It's literally the first thing you hear.
Okay. God is a woman.
Yeah.
The Antichrist is unassuming and a child. That's also not really much of a spoiler. Find that out pretty quickly. And obviously, a demon and an angel are BFFs. And they don't like these things. So they decided to send a petition to Netflix to have a series that was not going to have a season 2 to get canceled. Like, they want this removed from Netflix. It's not even on Netflix. It is on Amazon Prime.
It's the wrong production company. Come
on,
guys.
Production company. This was meant to
be... they got the platform wrong?
Yes.
They're petitioning Netflix. It's an Amazon Prime TV show.
Netflix is like, we're right on that.
Yeah, it's like, sure.
They don't even have access to it.
So they haven't watched it!
No, a lot of them have watched like 10 minutes of it and then turned it off because it's so offensive. Oh my god! I'm like,
well, they don't say that.
well, some haven't. And what's been great is Neil himself has just been like, well, we see what you are, and like that's just been the thing. It's been great, but these mother truckers decided,
it's Twitch, you can say it.
oh yeah, these motherfuckers decided to send Netflix a petition to cancel a mini-series from Amazon. Again, a mini-series means there won't be a season 2 because they got the whole story told in the one season.
And Neil Gaiman has said over and over, because people have asked him, you know, could you write a season 2? Could you do a season 2? And he's like, no, I don't. Unless they basically like force me. No, there was not meant to be a season 2. He also hates.
So all we need to do is force him.
Dude, there are so many other Neil Gaiman properties. Though.
That's true.
They could do
other things.
Ocean at the End of the Lane. They could do Graveyard Book.
Beautiful.
Okay.
They could do a Sandman TV show.
I like the show, and I'm just, I'll watch it on Netflix.
It was so good.
I will admit I have not watched the show yet. I did read the book, so I know what happens. I just haven't had a chance to sit down and watch the show.
That's fair.
But I already know it's going to be good because
it's dope.
The cast, like I said, the casting was perfect the minute they announced it. Like they announced it, perfect, fine, whatever, you're good. And then seeing Neil tweeting and posting from the set, talking about how it's like this beautiful love letter to Terry Pratchett as well, how it wholly encompasses the book. I'm like, I don't need to watch the show to make sure it's good. I know it's gonna be good.
Wonder Twins is in the chat just gushing and same to everything that you say. It's such a good show.
Yes.
And yes. David Tennant is amazing.
Yes, he is.
Come on, guys. They're non-binary asexuals. Come on.
Come on.
Even more to be pissed off about.
They're so they're so queer. But
yes, let me have this.
Yeah,
let me have.
I love it.
Well, speaking of things you love.
Speaking of things, and speaking of queer, so Lin-Manuel Miranda, he's straight, unfortunately. Lin-Manuel Miranda, if you have listened to a musical in the past 5 years, if you watched Moana, if you watched Mary Poppins, you know who Lin-Manuel Miranda is. He's an amazing composer, writer, decent actor.
Has he done anything I would know?
No, not Mary Poppins for sure.
Never heard of this name ever.
He is going to be making his directorial debut. Actually, no, because there's a Anyways, he is going to be directing Tick, Tick, Boom. It was, I think it was a play originally written by Jonathan Larson, who you might know, who wrote Rent. And it was performed as a single man show way back before he tragically died in 1996. Then it was adapted by, I don't have his name here. It was adapted into a 3-person musical, which Lin-Miranda actually starred in at one point. But we are going to be seeing a movie. It's going to be made by Netflix. Lin-Manuel Miranda is directing it. It is being written by Stephen Levinson, who you might know from Dear Evan Hansen. They also teamed up to do the FX show Fosse Verdon, which has been getting a lot of pretty good reviews. It's a very good show. So between these two writers, they have, I don't even know how many Tonys between them. And we're going to be seeing a Tick, Tick, Boom movie.
Definitely better than Men in Black International.
Rude. It's good. I mentioned, apparently Lin-Manuel Miranda has directed a movie.
Here we go.
He was 16, and it's called Clayton's Friends. I need to see this movie.
Yeah, we
it's going to be trash. And I need to see it so bad.
Give me a good drink because I got to watch this. I got to see what the creative mind of
at
women at 16 years old. When I think about mine at 16, oh God, I can't.
I mean, he had his Broadway debut at 28, I think.
Yeah, but before we can walk, we must crawl, and sometimes we fall. And I'm pretty sure this is. But we'll find out. That could be the greatest thing ever.
I'm sure there's a reason I've never heard of this movie before, right?
Ooh. It's probably on just on someone's VHS tape.
Yeah, I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to find it. I've never heard of this movie. So, yeah, it's called Clayton's Friends.
All right, well, that's the news. And as we get into the main topic for the show, it is the Batman. And if you didn't realize, this is a topic that Ricardo has wanted to do for quite some time. I'm sorry he's not here for it, by the way. But this is 80 years of Batman. And today is yesterday was actually the 30th anniversary of the original Keaton movie. So let's just say he's been around for a while. Actually, I got a couple quick hits on it. First appearance in 1939, of course. Almost 40 actors have played him in live action. He has over 2,500 comics, 30 different animated series, radio, newspaper strips, numerous games over 20 years since 1986, also known as the Cape Crusader, the Dark Knight, and the world's greatest detective. And if you want to, you can also take a college course on Batman at the University of Victoria in Canada. You can get a classroom credit of Batman. If you're a cosplayer out there playing Batman, you need to transfer to this college and get that credit. You will have no credibility with me.
If you have not taken a college course on Batman, then I do not want to hear from you.
As I'm gathering facts for this, I'm like, this has got to be. I called the school.
What?
I wanted to be sure that this was legit. So I called the school.
You called some poor admin and was like, hey, can I get a college course?
Can you do it online?
I didn't ask. I didn't ask, but they seemed rather tired of hearing people call and ask. I heard before my question was answered. So
that's amazing.
Well, I just want to know: do I have to attend? Can I do it online? I want to know.
In person?
Well, I want to know.
I don't know.
If I show up, can I wear my Robin or Nightwing cosplay?
I'm going to go ahead and say no on the Robin cosplay.
What about the Nightwing?
I don't know.
Nightwing, sure.
How obsessed do you have to be a professor of a Batman course? I'm pretty sure they'd be into it.
The professor needs to come in every Batman costume there is.
I want my professor in that online course or in-person course. In Canada, you said?
Mm-hmm.
I want, when I show up, I want his name to be Professor Hugo Strange. And if it's not, yes.
Wow.
Hugo Strange is not a nice man. He's
not. He's not.
He's a bad guy.
That's exactly. I want the full experience. Come on.
He is one of the only Batman villains that finds out who Batman is. So I feel like that's fair.
But he's got to be intelligent.
Yeah.
But as we honor this man who has risen above the loss of his parents to defend Gotham, and no criticism of Batman tonight, we're honoring him. I thought we'd go over some of the best, our personal favorite movies, comic book, or animated appearances that he's made. Start off, I gotta admit, I was a kid when the first Batman movie came out, and had never seen him on screen, and it was great.
You didn't watch old Adam West?
Well, I did watch Adam West. I mean, like on the big screen.
Yeah.
I watched Adam West in black and white on Channel 33.
You didn't get it in color?
It was in black and white at first.
No, they were all color episodes.
Oh, then we just had a black
off
and
with
white
your TV, dude.
No, we just had black and white TV. I stayed with my grandmama during that summer, so yeah. But I did, of course, love the campy series. No.
Yeah.
Yvonne Craig, of course, being a Dallas native, got to give her props and everything. Mm-hmm. But I did love that show. But I think my first good, great experience of Batman was the Keaton movie.
Yeah.
That was just iconic, and what they did at the time was very groundbreaking, I thought. And honestly, it's probably my favorite out of it. That and The Dark Knight Returns are probably what I would consider my personal favorite.
The Dark Knight Returns?
I'm sorry.
What do you mean, Rises?
Batman Returns.
Batman Returns.
Batman
okay,
Returns.
Okay.
Are probably my favorite.
The Dark Knight Returns is a.
I don't like that.
Bullshit.
I don't like that.
Not a fan. So, which one is Batman Returns?
That's Keaton.
That's Keaton.
Catwoman. Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman.
Right.
Danny DeVito is the Penguin. I love that movie.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
As soon as it went Val Kilmer, I was like, something's off here. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's going on. I don't like it. So, but of course, I think the best representation is Batman the Animated Series. From the originals that debuted on Fox, and Kevin Conroy taking that character to the heights that we had not seen for multiple appearances. Batman and Superman, the Justice League series. I love his depiction of Batman. That is my personal favorite because his depiction of Batman are the ones that I think hit you as hard emotionally, especially some of the stuff in the Justice League.
Yeah.
So that's my personal favorite. As far as comics, I don't really have a favorite comic. I wasn't a real Batman comics fan. I really was into it during Danny O'Neill's run. That would be my anything Danny O'Neill was writing for Batman, I was reading. And once he stopped, I kind of dropped off because he was one of my favorite writers.
That's fair.
So I was reading it less for Batman and more for Danny O'Neill. And yeah, I will give him as much crap as I give Batman. I cannot deny 80 years of success. Some slips along the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my take on it, guys.
Do you want to get? I can go first. You can go first.
No, go right ahead.
So I grew up on old Adam West Batman, which I always liked, but I don't know that I ever really loved. And then I was a teenager when the Dark Knight trilogy was coming out, so I loved those iterations of Batman, except for the Dark Knight Rises. Ugh, on that movie as a whole. But then I started watching Batman the Animated Series and just absolutely fell in love. I actually think I watched Justice League before I watched.
Really?
Yeah, because one of them was on Netflix and one of them wasn't. It was just one of those things. And Justice League is my favorite version, hands down, of Batman. I love him. I love him in the animated series, but I also love him around the Justice League in general.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like Batman and Superman, in a lot of ways, balance each other out. I am not interested at all in Superman without Batman, for the most part, because he's just kind of, oh, I'm a Boy Scout. And I love him and Batman kind of being at odds and kind of being best friends. Just a big fan of that. Also, I like the Arkham games.
Yeah, I didn't really get into that.
Arkham Knight, I think, is the one that I played the most, and it's a really intense version of Batman.
Arkham Knight is probably my favorite out of that series.
It's intense, and I love obviously the Joker
I
being
love the
in
open
your
world
head.
sandbox
Yeah.
as well. So.
Yeah. Except for the car, I can't do the Batmobile. Those parts of it, I hate them. But yeah, love Kevin Conroy. My favorite live action Batman, oddly enough, is Batfleck. There's something about how old and pissed off Batman is in that version. Like, he's a Batman that's been doing this for like 30 years.
He's getting into Batman Beyond.
He is, and he's just,
which is a great series.
He's exhausted, and that's kind of an interesting place to put Batman, especially if you deal with the beginning of Superman at the time when Batman's already tired, because he's been dealing with this day in and day out for 20 years, and then he's like, oh, now there are gods among us, and that's introducing that later in Batman's career is really interesting to me, because all of a sudden it's this big, and he's like, I don't know how to deal with this, and it's the first time in 20 or 30 years he's like, I don't know what to do with this, and I don't like it, so I'm gonna kill him. And it's super aggressive, but I'm just a big fan of that Batman in particular. I also think he's the only one that's gotten the Bruce Wayne Batman thing in live action. I don't think Michael Keaton is hot enough to be Bruce Wayne. I don't think Val Kilmer or George Clooney pulled off Batman. And
didn't pull off Batman or Bruce Wayne?
Didn't pull off Batman.
Okay.
And Christian Bale's Batman is just too
grating.
Yeah.
And too simple in a lot of ways. Like, Batman is smart, and his Batman is just like not that smart.
And he talks like this.
Where is she?
What did you say?
I did enjoy Mickey Mouse voice. I cannot. Like, no, stop.
What did you do to him?
Also,
No. This is a
excuse
positive.
you. Bane is not white. Bane is not white.
Taking roles from Latino actors.
Exactly. That's why I really want Dave Bautista to be Bane. It's a rumor, and I'm so into it.
No, it's a total rumor.
It's a rumor.
Would he bring back the luchador mask? Because I freaking
Yes.
love that.
Yes, that's what I want.
Okay.
That's what they should do.
Also,
yeah.
weirdly enough, Suicide Squad: Assault on Arkham is one of my favorite Batman movies, and it doesn't even have him that much. But like 2/3 of the way through the movie, spoilers, but it's been out like 6 years. Suicide Squad is in Arkham, and they're like trying to like sneak their way around, and they like beat up all the bad guys, and then Batman comes in and just wipes them out in like 5 minutes.
Arkham,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
he just wipes them
I've
out
seen
in
that,
like 5 minutes, and it's my favorite thing I've ever seen.
Oh, that movie, that was the animated movie, right?
Yeah.
That movie was so good.
It's the best Suicide Squad movie.
And the best
hands
depiction
down.
of Amanda Waller.
Yes.
If you answer a question
CCH
too slowly,
counter.
if you give me the correct answer too slow,
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I love that when she walks in the room and says, sit down, the first person to sit down is Harley, because she's like, nope.
Yeah. Yes.
Not Amanda.
Harley knows what's up.
I was like, nah, I don't mess with her.
I love
Anyway.
that so much. Obviously, Killing Joke is an amazing comic. Even though I don't think it should be canon because Batman clearly kills Joker at the end, but whatever.
That's up to interpretation, by the way.
It is open to
That's
interpretation.
my interpretation.
Oh, there you
is
go.
that Batman clearly kills Joker.
Right.
All right. Bryce got a favorite or
I've got a lot of
things to say.
I've got a lot of
Dark
things to
Knight?
say about
Rapid
Batman.
fire, go.
So as a kid, I loved the Super Friends. My introduction to Batman was the Super Friends cartoon from the 70s, and also, of course, Adam West and Burt Ward in reruns, their show, which I loved.
You needed to point out specifically that they were reruns.
Right?
You're like, excuse me.
Yeah. It wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't around for first run. Was not.
So you claim.
Until the court decides I'm lying
To
We'll go
reveal
with
your
that.
true age.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, what kid wouldn't enjoy those prolific adventures? I certainly did. I even enjoyed Batman and Robin making a guest appearance on Scooby Doo.
Yes. Yes.
Taking care of the Joker and
Yes.
the Penguin. Way back in the day. So there's a lot of things I love about Batman and DC Comics, and as a cosplayer, enjoying playing Robin and Nightwing. Obviously, a lot of people know that I'm into DC Comics cosplay, but I would also say, if we're going to talk about things that I loved, obviously, celebrating Keaton's and Jack Nicholson's and Tim Burton's 30th anniversary of their film, I thought it was fantastic. In '89, when I saw that in the theater for the first time, I was wowed. I mean, to a very high degree. And I thought Nicholson was both terrifying and hysterical.
Yeah.
Because when you initially see him as the Joker, you don't see him very well, and he's in the shadows. And I rewatched the film just last night because I wanted to have a fresh take on it. And I wanted to see if it really still held up. And by the way, the first time he appears in Grissom's office, played by Jack, the really old actor from the westerns and from
Jack
Billy
Lemmon?
Crystal movie. No, not Jack Lemmon.
I can't think of his name.
Anyway, so he prolific actor in a lot of films, and he played Grissom, the crime boss. The first time you see him walk in, he actually scared me. I actually had a moment where I jumped watching Nicholson's performance last night, but he consistently made me laugh too. So I really still enjoy that movie, and without Tim Burton's vision and direction that he brought to the screen, I don't know that we'd have a lot of our films that we have today.
We wouldn't have
Jack
Chris
Palance.
Nolan.
Thank you, Jack Palance.
We wouldn't have Chris Nolan for sure.
We wouldn't have I don't think we'd have I don't know that we'd have much of a DC universe at all.
I would
television or
argue to
TV.
say that this was probably a big opener for comic book movies.
Oh, for sure.
For us getting these beloved characters to the screen.
Because when the Superman series ended with Christopher Reeve, there wasn't much going on for superheroes. It was mainly sci-fi, But
You were getting these not even B-list. We're getting these D-list, the Supergirl 1984 movie, those, and they were just nothing.
which Christopher was supposed to be in, but ended up not participating in, which
Thank
was
God.
a shame. But
Oh,
no, I would have loved it actually. that or a Wonder
It
Woman
was so
film with
trash.
the two of them
Yeah,
together.
well, yeah,
I would have loved that.
obviously.
So I would just say that, thank goodness for Tim Burton, who really only had Beetlejuice and Pee-wee's Big Adventure under his belt at that point.
For real?
Those are the only two big movies he had under his belt at that time. And you know what? I don't know how far they got into pre-production before Warner Brothers at the time decided they were going to give Tim the reins on Batman. I don't know how I don't know how much they really knew of Beetlejuice's success. So I give Warner Brothers a lot of accolades and praise for letting him take the reins, because without that movie, we wouldn't have had Michelle Pfeiffer and Danny's performance in Batman Returns, and you know what? We probably wouldn't have never had the definitive Batman the Animated Series. We would have never had Mark Hamill voicing the Joker, and that's iconic. And also, Kevin Conroy.
Them taking a risk on Michael Keaton, who everybody was like the comedy guy.
Yeah,
but I think he actually did the duality of Bruce Wayne and Batman really good, because Bruce Wayne's the mask.
Yeah.
When they first introduce him and he's joking around with the reporter and Vicky Vale, and the thing with the glass where Alfred's just picking up behind him after everyone, I love that scene.
Yeah,
because he's such a goofball until rising.
Yeah, he wasn't as brooding as I remembered he might have been watching the film last night, but you could see some of that, coming to the picture later in the film. But I thought they got a lot of things right with that first film last night that I saw for the first time in a while.
You watch on a streaming platform? Just curious.
No, I watched it on Blu-ray.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and speaking of Michael Keaton, I'll get back to that. So I did really like Keaton's performance in the film, and I thought the film really stands the test of time. Actually, Burton created sort of an opera for me. It was gothic. It was his whole set design and everything. I thought it was phenomenal. So I really can't say enough nice things about that first Batman film from '89. I thought it was great. And as far as some of the other things that I really enjoyed, you guys, I'm sure, probably all of you don't remember or have never seen the Steve Englehart, Marshall Rogers, that's the artist and the writer, run on Detective Comics in the 80s when comics were like 35 cents a piece. This was definitive Batman for me, okay?
It was 75 weeks.
Dude, these comics are phenomenal. If you haven't checked out Marshall Rogers' art, and I wish I had a still image for you to see right now, but their storylines it's called The Laughing Fish, and there was another one that I really liked. It dealt with the Calendar Man, which a lot of people are going to make fun of me for, but the art by Marshall Rogers is phenomenal. And
Calendar Man is dope.
To point out, remember we were talking about Batman villains a few weeks ago.
Long Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no, it wasn't around Halloween. It was more recent.
The Long Halloween. It's what storyline that he's the main villain.
That startled me.
He was.
Someone in the chat brought up Calendar Man.
Okay.
We were talking about what villains they could bring into another movie.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're like, Calendar Man.
Yeah. Well, back in the day in the 80s, he wasn't highly regarded as a A-lister, but
weirdly enough, yeah, that's changed.
Yeah, that's changed. So I would just add that if you haven't seen Superman Batman Public Enemies, it's a fantastic straight to DVD animated film which features Superman and Batman, and it's my favorite Superman Batman collaboration on film. I think it's fantastic. I wish WB would think about making this into a film, a live action is what I'm getting at.
And then you need to go watch Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Has that come out?
Yeah, it's out.
I must miss it.
I loved it.
So, I would say that for me, my favorite actor playing Batman, it's hard for me to choose that. You guys were choosing your favorites. I don't think I can separate live action from animation. I can't just choose one for me. That's just
Oh,
that's
yeah,
just me.
no, I
I
can't
can't
do
do
it.
it. I can't do it. It's for me. It's you got Kevin Conroy
Yeah.
leading the charge, and then you've also got. I really want to say Keaton. I really do, but everything ties for me goes back to the beginning in my childhood, and Adam West voiced not only cartoons in my childhood, but he also did, obviously the definitive first live action of Batman, even though there was some black and white stuff before that. But for me, it's Adam West, because if you look back at some of his scenes, the man was a really good actor. You might think he was just hamming it up and he wasn't very good, but there are some scenes where I've seen the man is tremendous. I really do think
It's very
he's
much the
tremendous.
style of the time. You go back and watch anything from that era, you will see it's a different style of acting.
Yeah, it is.
And around, I think it would have been 2003, 2004, we got super into the close-up, and acting now is different than it was. And up until the 1980s, we lived mostly in the long shot. And it's kind of film mixed with stage acting, and it's a
Right.
very different style of acting. And
Right.
then we got a little bit closer in the 80s, and then much closer in the mid 2000s, and it's just that's how it goes.
Well, what's interesting, I think, about Adam West is, for me, I like it best when he's playing Bruce. His take on Bruce Wayne, his slants,
Very
is
different, yeah.
really cool. And I don't mean just because I think he's a ladies' man or something. I just think he's very intelligent, and just very the way he plays Bruce is like nothing else I've seen, and it's not just for laughs either. I just think he's great. But I would also like to add that, getting back to Keaton, there's nothing more that I would like in the Batman cinematic universe. I think I want him in a Batman Beyond movie playing old cranky
Keaton?
Bruce.
Keaton?
Yes, I would love
Well, I was
that.
going to get into that when we go into what we want to see from the future.
Oh, sorry.
But Cora, any favorite Batman moments or cartoon or any appearances you want to share with us?
Well, my first introduction to Batman was actually the Scooby-Doo cartoon with
Amazing.
that collaboration. Well, I was 6. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And then not long after I'd seen that was when like the Batman and Superman TV show came on. So I got to see this great show, and I fell in love with Batman. Also, that's my favorite version of Superman, but that's for another show. But I fell.
Which one's your favorite one? The Batman Superman, the show?
Yeah, the Batman Superman TV series, because I liked how they handle it, but that's off topic. But I liked that version of Batman, and then the animated series came out. I don't know which actually came out first, but this was the order I saw them in. And that was like my jam, along with Ninja Turtles. Like, that's all I wanted to watch were those two things.
Then you need to watch this movie.
Oh yeah, I will. It's on my list. But like, my favorite movie is Batman and Robin. I love that movie. It is legitimately my favorite Batman movie of all time. No, like, not being ironic, this is my favorite Batman movie, bat nipples and all. I love the camp of it, because I love camp. I thought that it was just, the humor was great. I loved all the puns. Like, it was great.
Holy rusted metal Batman.
You are purposefully trying to enrage me.
The Bat credit card. The Bat credit card. By the way, one of my friends has the Bat credit card. It's fantastic.
Also, it's not how credit cards work.
No, whatever. It's not. But whatever. Like, I did like the other movies that have come out. Like, I loved the first Dark Knight movie. It was phenomenal, and it's my favorite modern Batman movie.
Fair enough.
I'm not gonna count the 1990s ones as modern Batman, and I liked all. There was only 3, right? Because I only remember
trilogy. Yes.
Okay, thank goodness, because I only remembered watching 3.
Yep.
All 3 of those movies are like at the top of my list for favorite things from like DC. But like after the animated series, I didn't really watch much Batman. Like, I didn't watch Batman Beyond. I I don't know why. I think I was just kind of confused at the younger Bruce Wayne. That's how my brain processed it, was younger Bruce Wayne. Like, I didn't understand it. I want to go watch it now. It looks awesome. And then I didn't... Actually, I don't think I watched a new Batman thing until The Dark Knight. Because I got pressured by one of my friends at school to watch it. I'm glad they did.
To watch which one?
The Dark Knight.
Oh, the 2008, yeah.
Yeah, I got pressured to watch it because they're like, it's really good.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, and it was. But, yeah, like, I don't have a lot of Batman lore for you guys. A lot of my favorite Batman or Batman universe type movies don't have Batman in them for very much. The exception being like the Red Hood.
That's a good movie.
Loved that movie. They wrote Batman beautifully for that. Like, his turmoil and him coming to terms with everything. And then just the whole storyline with Red Hood and Batman. And them having to come to terms with each other. Like, yes. But then the rest of the animated movies that I've seen from DC, while they have, like, Robin, because I prefer the Robins over Batman, they don't really have Batman in there except for, like, a cameo of, like, Bruce Wayne's here, and now he's gone. Or a name drop, and then he's gone.
Can I ask, has anyone but me at this table watched the Gotham TV show?
I saw part of it.
No, I didn't have Batman in it.
It did have Batman.
I saw like part of an episode while I was at the gym.
Yeah.
And I did enjoy what I saw. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on because it was like season 3, I think.
Yeah.
But I liked the writing and I thought it was interesting for what I did see of it.
It's a really odd, it's basically Batman AU, right? And I think
Okay.
I've talked about this on the show
Yeah.
before. It's basically like, what if it was super obvious that Bruce Wayne was Batman? What if all these villains are much older than Batman and all knew each other? It's basically a Batman AU. And it's my favorite relationship between Bruce and Alfred, because it has Bruce growing up. And in a lot of ways, it's hard to strike the balance between Alfred being his partner and Alfred being his butler, right? And it strikes that perfect balance of how do you raise a kid who's your boss? And that's the big reason I would recommend Gotham. That and basically the villains are just super fun because it's them without Batman. So they're just running rampant most of the time doing whatever they want. It's kind of fun. But it's my favorite relationship between Alfred and Batman, or really Alfred and Bruce at that point. So yeah, I would recommend that if you like that particular relationship like I do. That being said, they do get to Batman, and it's not good. Don't ever watch the finale of that show.
It's kind of like the Nolan movies. They don't stick the landing. But this is a positive show about Batman.
Seriously, Dark Knight Rises did not stick the landing. It made me real sad.
No, it didn't.
Okay.
What I do want to, what do we want to see from the future of Batman? I am with Bryce. You want to go more on your idea? I am all for that. Keaton is the perfect look for an old crotchety Bruce Wayne.
Okay,
100%.
we have an old crotchety Bruce Wayne in the current DCEU.
He's not old enough.
He is.
No. We need old Bruce Wayne for Batman Beyond.
Okay, what age?
You talking about Batfleck or somebody else?
I guess I'm talking about
No,
Batfleck.
He's not old enough.
Yeah.
What? He's like mid-50s.
Batman and Batman Beyond
He's
is like
like
in
70,
his,
whatever.
I think he's 80s,
I think he's
honestly.
70
Have you ever
plus,
heard
for
of
sure.
prosthetics?
But they have already in Justice League, they talked about him getting too old to do it. So
Right.
Robert Pattinson, if they wanted to,
Way far enough in the
they
future.
could do it.
No.
They could do it.
I'd be okay with
They
it.
could absolutely
No,
do it.
no. That gets into what I want for the future of Batman. But
What?
anyway, I want Robert Pattinson. Everyone's like, it's the Sparky Vampire guy. I honestly
No,
have never
he's been an indie darling for like 10 years.
and I have no ground to stand on because I've never
Twilight
seen those
Splatter,
movies.
yeah.
I want a good Batman movie. I want a definitive on-screen Batman actor that can carry this franchise for a couple of years, for multiple movies. Enough of this one and done, or 2 movies and done, or even 3 movies and done. I want DC to get their shit together.
Basically, you want DC to have any type of faith in its creators whatsoever.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
they don't. And the fact that we had a Batman that was here for like what 4 movies tops and didn't have a solo, and they cut him? What? We don't know if he could carry a movie because he never got to. And that makes me insanely angry, and I'm so mad that he's leaving.
Yeah, I'm tired of all the changing of hands. I want someone to carry this franchise, and like I said, I don't have a lot of ground to stand on him as an actor, but I'm putting my faith in him.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of Batman, but I'm wanting this to be a success.
Yeah.
So Robert Pattinson impressed me. I'm on your side until I'm not. You know what I'm here to support this because I don't want anything being a bad comic movie.
Yeah.
Because it brings down the genre as a whole because everyone's like, it's another comic movie that failed. Oh, the bubble's about to burst. Shut the fuck up. Anyway.
Do you have a creator that you'd want to do a Batman?
Nobody that I want to put all my eggs in a basket on. Honestly, I'm willing for them to go with somebody new.
Okay.
Put a new vision on this thing. Let's just work, since we're wiping the slate clean, let's just give it a damn chance. So that's what I want.
Would you want Tim Burton to come back and do another Batman? Would you be excited about that?
That ship has probably sailed.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because he hasn't made a good movie in 15 years, or some other reason?
Honestly, I haven't seen much of Tim's output in the last 5 to 10 years. I tried to watch the new Willy Wonka he did.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get to the end.
Yeah.
I'm just
real bad.
My answer would be based just on that one film.
Yeah.
So nothing else.
Trust your instincts about that.
Yeah. You know what? Give the project to the guy who has the best pitch, who's passionate about the project,
exactly.
just like the MCU handles all their directors and their projects. You know, somebody who knows the material. Faith.
They don't have MCU doesn't have faith in their career. What are you talking about? The MCU is basically on what is the thing that goes back the
I'm not supporting
at
your decision
Walmart
on this. No.
What is it called? Conveyor belt. The MCU is basically on a creative conveyor belt. Don't come at me about creative vision.
They trusted Ryan Coogler with Black Panther.
That is the most they have trusted anybody with anything.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I mean, it has the same tone as every other MCU movie.
Well, Kenneth Branagh.
Now we're getting off myself.
Well, we're getting off topic, but I would just say they trusted Kenneth Branagh with the first Thor movie, right?
That was literally 10 years ago.
Anyways,
it's a
Batman.
good example, is it not?
Anyway.
Okay, so getting back to the topic of Batman, I just want to add one thing that I couldn't spit out earlier. Steve Englehart, Marshall Rogers. It's called Laughing Fish and Sign of the Joker. It's a 2-parter from Detective Comics, number 475 and 476. If you want to check it out, I highly recommend it. And they did other issues, but that's something that stuck in my brain from when I was a kid.
Yep. And
I still love it. Anyway, the stuff that I want, Jason, that for the future, I would say I want this new Todd Phillips movie to be great with Joaquin Phoenix.
I don't care about that.
Well, here's the only thing. The only reason I say this, the only reason is because if it's great, then we can move forward with the Joker possibly as the main antagonist in the second Matt Reeves Batman film. Because the first one's going to be centered...
But they've already said they're not doing it.
Yeah.
I didn't read that.
Yeah, this is a standalone. That's why I can't... Build me a universe.
Okay, yeah. I did not know that.
No, it's a one and done.
Okay, because they mentioned featuring the Wayne family in
Yeah, but it's a standalone movie, so okay. That's why I can't...
Well, okay, let's just pretend that Bryce didn't care about that movie then. Yeah.
Cast Future of the Bat?
I don't know. Give me something I like. Give me something different.
Well, you like Gotham. So.
I do like Gotham. Give me a Batman that is very serious, and give me Batman villains that are very not.
What about Batwoman?
I don't have much hope.
I do.
The TV show?
I have problems with it, but I really like Kate Kane.
You cannot build a TV show on a missing character.
I know, and I said that already. I have said that already.
You can't do it. I don't have much hope.
I know. I'm already going against what I said.
Bruce Wayne is going to be in Titans, so there's hope for that one.
Carl, anything that you want to see for the future of Batman? Maybe something focusing on anyone other than Batman and the Bat family?
Basically.
Give me a Nightwing TV series.
What I was going to say.
It's called Tightness.
Can I have a live action The Red Hood and have Jensen Ackles come back as the Red Hood, as Jason Todd? Because he was perfect, and I want that very badly. And if you won't give me him as Jason Todd, give me him as Nightwing / adult Dick Grayson, and I will call it even.
Yeah.
Actually, just give me Dick Grayson in the way that he's supposed to be, and I'll be happy. Give me this sarcastic acrobat and my life with a perfect ass. That's important.
Maybe hit the brakes on F Batman.
Yes.
Maybe just
hit the brakes
just tap
on
that.
Because while he's always had his issues with Batman, he's also had a respect for Batman. Maybe not do that, but give me the sarcastic little happy boy that does flippy shit all around the room with his tonfa in his spandex and nice booty. I feel like that's important.
Spandex and nice booty.
Yes.
That's what we should have called this show.
Oh, we should have. But Batman doesn't have a nice booty.
Batman has an excellent booty. Did you see Ben Affleck?
He works out.
That is a good point.
All right.
I would want to add that I forgot to mention the Brave and the Bold TV series that was on Cartoon Network, which was really great.
Don't watch the Batman though; that's trash. It's called.
Let's not talk about
I remember that.
It's
there were aspects of it that I was okay with. I didn't get to the end of that series, but there were aspects of that one that
I stuck it out to the end.
Okay. For me, and I'm maybe the only one in this room or this city that wants this, but I grew up reading Batman and the Outsiders with Geoforce, Katana, Metamorpho, and Halo, and a few others. I want a Batman and the Outsiders live action or
Build me a universe
Netflix
first.
show or Amazon Prime show. I'll watch it. Bring it to air. I'll be there. Always.
Well, get me a universe
clear
first.
You'll watch anything.
Yeah.
Lay the groundwork before you start bringing in those characters. Anyway, so the future is bright for another 80 years of Batman, I'm sure. Whatever we go from here, Robert Pattinson, don't let me down. So anyway,
Just slip that in there.
I want to do a shout out to a friend who's doing his own Batman series for YouTube and everyone else, and it's called Mystery of the Batman. And my friend named Ryan, he is director, writer, and actor on this series, and I want to spotlight that in the future. But check it out.
Is it like a folktale?
It is it's a time period piece set in the I can't remember if it's 30s or 40s, but it's 4 or 5 chapters are out right now, and you can watch it on YouTube. Mystery of the Batman. Check it out.
so I have to include a link to that. Anyway, guys, that has been the show. We will be back next week for more of this nerdy tree stuff that we do here.
You want to say that one more time?
This nerdy tree stuff that we do around here. But if you want to follow the show and everything that we're doing, make sure you go to facebook.com/SCNS Live or follow us on Twitter and Instagram at SCNS Live. If you want to follow us personally, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JasonTheX.
Cass_Radley, KAS_Radley. That is on Instagram and Twitter. You can also find Cat and I drawing really just the worst drawings of stuff on Overwatch League at Doa Drawings, DOA Drawings.
You can find me, Bryce Culver, with a C, on Facebook and Instagram. And also, I have a toy page on Instagram. It's called Trapdoor Toys.
It's got one toy.
Do I have just one?
Just one.
Just the one.
I think I have more than one.
Pretty sure it's just one.
She's wrong.
It's that one.
Oh, okay. Anyway, that's my soap dish. But story for another night.
It's amazing. I want a Batman soap.
Cora, where can they find you?
Cool.
You can find me on Instagram at Corodono, KORODONO. I don't know why I spelled that. It's spelled right there. But whatever.
Where's it spelled?
Beneath me.
Screen.
Beneath my face.
Yep.
But I post artwork and cosplay related things there, sometimes toy photography, like in Once in a Blue Moon, Or you can follow me on Twitter at HawksPerch, where I post things about Moomins and mostly Suikoden. So if you really like Suikoden, you can join me at Shouting Into the Void on Twitter. Please join me. No one has accepted this offer, and I feel offended slightly.
I mean, I can scream into the void with you. It just won't be about Suikoden.
Then what's the point?
It'll be about El Shaddai Ascension of the Metatron, obviously.
Also, we want to mention that Ricardo has a new series on the channel, Super Cool Nerd Nation, where he's going around interviewing people within our community. And I was fortunate enough to be his first guest as we sat here and drank whiskey, and he interviewed me, which is like I've interviewed people before, so it's awkward thing getting interviewed. Anyway, look at that. He has done some other interviews he'll be releasing slowly but surely, and the D&D game that we played last Saturday will be on the channel tonight. So make sure you catch up on all of our adventures, and there's going to be some big things coming in the week. Maybe even some on-location stuff that we'll get into a little bit later on. But anyway, that has been our show. Thank you guys out there in the Super Cool Nation for joining us. And as we always say around here, keep on nerding.
To the back poles, Dick.
I'm Batman.
Bat poles? What?
Yeah, just
My
slide
new
down the back poles.
Says new
and
stripper
get to
name.
the Batmobile.
I'm Bane.
No, I was like, I'm dead.
Hello.